So I've got something really fun that we're going to set up next. Let's before we wrap this, let's march the lights in a little closer behind him, the backlights. So what we're going to do is kind of get some neat effect going on here. And let's, do we have gels cut, or am I throwing too many curveballs out there?
I have gels cut.
He's got gels cut. Ken's amazing. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put gels on these backlights, and it's also made a lot easier by the fact I have these barn doors on here. And we're moving them in so they're going to become lights in my photograph. Earlier, they were just lights illuminating my subject. Now they're actually going to be part of the picture. So let me head back here, and I can help you out. What's that? Oh, yeah, let's do them on both. And then through that door, I've got a couple pre-cut ones in there. In the roller case. Okay, cool. All right. So this might not look pretty, but I'm going to double wrap this over so it's nice and thick.
Do you want?
Oh yeah, perfect. Just grab the two fulls. So with gels, we're kind of over in our little messy corner over here. But you can get them cut to different sizes. Like the sheets normally come pretty large, like 20 by 24 inches. I like to go to Lee Gels. They're one of the manufacturers, and they make like 12 by 12 inch ones that are a lot easier to just hold over. So that one looks like a full. And I'm going to lower these down. And you can get pre-cut gels for different barn doors and different brands and stuff like that. I'm cheap. I just get the sheets and I cut them down to the size of whatever I'm modifying. I'm efficient. I'm saving money for new camera lenses and lights, not fancy gel holders.
Fancy gel holders.
So I'm just going to go ahead and cover this up. And this is thanks to this great question here in the studio audience. Let's go ahead and gel some stuff and make it look more interesting. Doesn't need to be pretty. Also don't have to worry about this overheating or melting because we don't have a modeling light running constantly. Although we are firing this thing off like a machine gun, so who knows? We could see something smoke in the studio today. And I'm just I'm a little under a full extension. And we're gonna move these over. And now what I wanna do is kind of get like cool stadium lighting kind of effect in the background going on. So let's set up our shot again. All right, let's have you move over this way just a little bit. Perfect, all right, this is just a test shot, so don't have to do anything just yet. Oh, this is gonna look cool. This is gonna look so cool. All right, let's go ahead and get a couple of you just running at me. All right. Perfect. Cool. All right, let's let the poor computer melt down now as those all come in. Each of those files is like a 47 megapixel file. So as those come in, I'm going to introduce our cool little thing here. We were going through all of the studio supplies, and we found some of the atmosphere in a can, or fog in a can. Now, when I'm on a bigger set, and I've got budget and time, and I'm not smoking out the room and scaring everyone in the audience here, I normally get a hazer and a generator, or I plug it into the wall, and I can just pour like a nice layer of haze in the background. But when you're in a pinch, or you just need a little bit of fog for atmosphere, you can actually get like aerosol in a can, like aerosol fog now, which is really cool. And what we're going to do is I want to add some depth to this. Previously, I had this set up so I could shoot this as a composite. I wanted nice wrapping light so everything would be frozen, and then I also wanted them on a pure black background for easier selections in Photoshop. Now, we want a cool finished image, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give this light something to land on. And what I mean by that is light traveling through space, you don't actually see it until it hits something, until it hits our subject. Well, have you ever seen those cool backlit shots in the rain? The light's hitting the rain. So if I throw a bunch of fog here, we're going to finally see our light. It's traveling through here, but now it's going to reflect off those little fog particles. So that's what we're looking for right there. I'm just going to go ahead and put some of this up, and I'll actually swap places with you if you want to be my fog man. And the important thing with this is you want to make sure it doesn't blow too much in front of the subject, because then all of this air and all of the light here is going to refract off the fog and lower our contrast, and it'd be like putting like a opaque sheet of glass in front of our subject. So this is going to be cool. Let's fog it up. Let's just, this whole area. All right, go for it. Did we warn them that we're not burning down in here? That we found some fog in the can? Okay, cool. All right, let me get one like serious pose shot so you can put the hood back up for one of these. I know this is freezing motion, but we're controlling time too. All right, excellent. We don't need to be 11 frames a second for a portrait. Oh yeah, this is gonna look cool. All right, nice. And I'm gonna turn down the power on this just a little bit. All right, perfect, all right, cool. I like that, awesome, hold that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm shooting eye level here, which I always joke is the most boring way to take a photo. The boringest, most boring. All right, by getting down a little bit lower, we're over our background here, but it's gonna be a more epic shot, more heroic. So let's compare these two. So camera angle matters. Look at the difference in those shots just by our camera angle. Getting lower, I'm able to zoom out a little bit more. Well, that's pretty close in focal length. But what it does is it creates this sense of looming. He's looming over the photograph. He's larger than life. He's big and intimidating. When I'm shooting down at someone, it's great for portraits because then they're looking up to you like kittens with big eyes and they're very endearing. And when you're shooting straight on, you're not really telling a story with your angle at all, which isn't bad, it isn't good, it's just a neutral way to take a picture. So for this, I'm really loving kind of that angle there. So let's get a couple really tough shots. Nice, and let's get a couple wide here so we get the lights in them actually. Nice. Oh, these look cool. Killer. All right, mission accomplished. Now, let's turn the speed up again. That's what we were waiting for. Yes. Okay, so just to recap, what I'm doing is I have a high ISO, and I'm at f11, and the higher ISO is allowing me to have a lower power setting on my flashes, okay? The lower power setting allows them to recycle fast, and we saw over in our Braun Control app that, I can switch over here, that these low power settings give us a lot of speed. I broke things here really quick, so I'll let the app reset. But you can see we're almost at 1/8,000th of a second over here. So let's go ahead and get some shots now. Perfect. All right. So fast. All right. I think I might have pulled our tether out when I stepped on it. Yep, let me go ahead and plug this back in. Those probably all went to card, though, so we're good. We'll get those. Ken's laughing. He's like, yeah, right. All right. Oh, that's so epic. Okay, cool. So now we've kind of set the scene. You've seen what we've done here scaling-wise, okay? We just had our lights set up to normal, but we wrapped him in light. So as he's warming up and as he's putting on his wraps and he's putting on his gloves, I can let him freely go through the motions, okay? He doesn't have to pose for me because he's not a model. He's an athlete. He's like, people will get pissed at you if they're an athlete and you're stopping them and starting them and stopping and starting them. So having fast flash duration and wrapping light and a base exposure that's not letting these lights in the room influence my photograph at all, I'm able to let him flow through his day and flow through his preparation and freeze the motion. And then going into speed mode, I'm able to really freeze motion. I mean, we are super fast here, almost faster than your camera could ever go on its own. And that allows him to just box me as fast as he wants, which is incredible. And then now putting the haze out there, we're getting some atmosphere, and it's giving the light something to visualize and land on and shine through in the background. So that's how we set our scene. That's how we work through the flow. And then again, the high ISO and the low power allows me to recycle really quickly too, so I can have my camera going as fast as it can go. So we're basically stressing everything out. We're just maxing it all out. And the result is cool photographs. I agree. Yep. Okay, cool. Let's fog it up. Let's say half step over this way for me. Perfect. All right. And go. All right, we're gonna cherry pick one of those. Cool. So yeah, let's see if we have any more questions, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Awesome. Do you have any questions in studio? Yeah.
I was wondering if you change your setting when you're using like a portable flash. Like how would you consider?
A portable one?
Yeah.
So like a speed light?
Yeah, like a speed light.
Yeah. So with the speed light, can you go through and maybe cherry pick one or two of those and put a star on them? So the only difference with the speed light, two differences, you're not gonna get that kind of recycle time out of them. it's a couple seconds when they're at full power. So how I would change things up is I would continue to use an efficient modifier like this, but instead of the parabolic, I would use the Westcott 7-foot umbrella. We actually have one that I'm going to use in tomorrow's class, and it's a 7-foot umbrella with a little bit of a parabolic shape. It's not like not a true parabolic, but it still manages to gather the light and send it out efficiently so that it makes the flash almost brighter than the flash would be by itself. So I would use very efficient modifiers. I would try to bring them in as close as possible, because the farther your light is away, the more powerful it has to be to be able to illuminate the subject. So I'd use a big, bright, silver reflective modifier or a shaper. I wouldn't use a softbox, because the softbox will absorb light. And I'll bring it in really, really close. And I would have to be more careful with timing. So here, it's almost comical that I'm shooting at 9 frames a second. But I would have to start timing a little bit more, because I only get one shot. And that one shot would have to freeze it. So I might try to work together and try to anticipate when he's going to get at full extension, and I would take the shot. So it would be a lot more trial and error. But you'd be able to do the same thing, because you saw that the speed light was at 1/6000th of a second. So the flash duration on the speed light is enough to freeze him. You just wouldn't have the ability to multi-shot like this. So yeah, I started out with speed lights for years and was still doing this kind of stuff. And I still do now. You saw the shot with the volleyball guy. I wasn't bursting. I had to have them throw the volleyball at him multiple times and then time it perfectly for him to get the dig, and we got the shot. Had I done that with these, I would have been able to just burst motor drive. So to final result, you can do the same thing with a speed light. The process of getting there is quicker and easier with the bigger strobes. But it's still one of those things that isn't inaccessible if you're just using small flash. So cool. Yeah, great question. Because I started doing this with small flash, and I don't want you to think you have to have all the Broncolor gear to do it. It just makes it quicker. And the reason I do it is because this is my living, so I invested in that, so it's faster and easier for me in front of clients. But if I had to go tomorrow and get the same shot, I'd just tell the client to go wait in the other room and maybe trial and error with a speed light. We'd get it. We'd definitely get it. So cool. Good question. We got a couple here. I like them. Can we zoom in on one, two, maybe? You should use the loop.
Just use the loop.
Yeah. Tack sharp. Awesome. Maybe get the glove. Did we get the glove in focus on that one? Yes. Yes. OK, awesome. That one's a little farther out. That's incredible. OK, cool. That's it. That's how quick and easy it is. Well, not quick and easy. We just went through the whole process.